What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Proverbial Life Podcast. This is a podcast where we encourage Christians to look to Christ, live wisely, and leave a legacy behind for generations to follow. On today's episode, I want to talk to those who are on the fence of the social justice movement. And I want to say this: it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Maybe you are someone who is sympathetic toward those who are talking about social justice, those who are advocating for Black Lives Matter. I'm speaking to you. Maybe you're someone who is white and you would consider yourself a white ally and you're trying to educate yourself on how to be a voice for Black and brown people. I'm here to tell you it'll never be enough. I used to be a social justice warrior. I used to be someone who was heavily involved in the woke movement, and it is, my friends, a new religion. There is a new set of rules and rituals. There is a new canon. There is a new ideology. And this isn't new in the sense that it's just coming out. It's new in the sense that now it's catching wind. More people are following it. More people are believing it. But we've been indoctrinated with these ideas in our seminaries for years. We've been indoctrinated in our schools. We've been indoctrinated by worldly philosophy. We've been indoctrinated by public education. We are a generation that is primed for this Marxist ideology. And I want you to know that it will never be enough. You will never do enough to please these idols who want blood. They want your life. They want your soul. It will never be enough. Either you're doing too much or you're not doing enough. You're either speaking too much on behalf of the Black and brown cause, or you're speaking too much or not enough. And they determine what you can and can't say and how much you can and can't say. I know you want to be a voice for the Black and brown community, but the Black and brown community doesn't need your voice, right? The Black and brown community need Christ like every community needs Christ, because all have fallen in Adam. And every single individual needs to trust in the second Adam, which is Jesus Christ. And in Christ do we find our identity. I know that you care and you want to be sympathetic toward the oppression, or so you think, the oppression of other minorities. But my friends, that is not the case. You are not helping, but you are hurting if you think that you are going to solve this ideology and wrong idea and wrong thinking about justice. If you think that you can solve that by earthly means, by simply giving reparations, by simply posting on your Instagram Blackout Tuesday, those things are not helping. What we need, what people need, what sinners need is truth. We need truth. And so you came to this place because you love people. And this is what God calls us to do as Christians. We're called to love God and we're called to love our neighbor. And my friends, that is the solution. If you want to help the Black and brown community, if you want to help the white and the Asian community, if you want to help all the West Indian and West African communities and all the people groups of all the world, if you want to help them, you look to Christ, you live wisely, and you strive to leave a legacy behind for generations to follow by pointing people to Christ, by pointing your soul and your family and your community to Christ. Because again, only in Christ do you find your true identity. So serve your community, love your wife, disciple your children, go out in your community and talk to people about Christ and press in, press in on this unity that we have in Christ. the union that we have with Christ, and by way of expression, the unity that we have with him and the bond that we have toward one another across ethnic backgrounds. Press in on that, because the world does not know that. The Black Lives Matter ideology does not know that. The Marxist ideology does not know that. The social justice gospel does not know that. And we can be a witness to the world by loving our neighbor, regardless of color. We can be a witness to our neighbor by loving our white brothers and sisters, by loving our black brothers and sisters, not on the basis of skin color, but on the basis of the love of God being shed abroad in our hearts. So again, it will never be enough. Don't live to please man, live to please Christ. Because one day, my friends, you and I will stand before him. And he's not going to ask us, what social justice group did you align yourself with? He's going to ask us, did we advocate on the side of black and brown voices? He's going to ask us, what did you do with my son, Jesus Christ? And did you obey all that he has commanded? And if you've trusted in Christ, by God's grace, the Spirit of God enables you to trust and obey him. So look to Christ today. Look to Christ. Follow Christ. Trust in him. Love your neighbor. And God will be pleased. Anything other than that, it'll never be enough. But Christ came so that you do not have to earn anything, because he accomplished everything on your behalf. Well, I hope this was helpful. Again, this has been a recording of The Proverbial Life, a podcast where we encourage Christians to look to Christ, live wisely, and leave a legacy behind for generations to follow. Grace and peace.